Is Baltimore a safe city? Is it the kind of city that you would want to raise a family and maybe go jogging in without having to be worried about being murdered or raped?
I grew up in Baltimore. My family is in Baltimore. My mother still lives in the same house in West Baltimore.
Is it a safe city?
60+ years, so the answer is definitely yes.
This clip right here is one of the most unbelievable pieces of video that has ever come out in a congressional hearing in a very long time. And just for context, the hearing appears to have been about sanctuary city policies and its impact on crime, other people who live in the city economically, and all these different other various things. And Representative Brandon Gill is actually questioning this former Baltimore City police official about the safety of Baltimore as kind of like a side quest, as not the main point of the overall 5-minute block of questioning. If you want to check it out in full, it will be linked in the description. And this is where things get completely out of hand, because this former Baltimore City police official is saying absolutely the city of Baltimore is safe. But the thing is, we all know that that is definitely not true. Baltimore is usually in the top 3 in homicide rate each and every year. So it's absolutely stunning for a former Baltimore City police official to make the case that Baltimore is a safe city when it is one of the most dangerous cities in the United States of America. And honestly, in some years, the level of murder that goes on in the city of Baltimore makes it among one of the most dangerous cities on the entire planet. So the idea that this guy would say it is safe is insane, and we got to break this down. We got to break down the whole interaction because it's madness from top to bottom. And again, Brandon Gill did an absolutely fantastic job in this exchange. But before we get into that, I want to thank everybody who supports this channel via actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money, okay?
Would you describe Baltimore as a safe city?
What's your definition of safe?
I'm asking you, is Baltimore a safe city? Is it the kind of city that you would want to raise a family and maybe go jogging in without having to be worried about being murdered or raped?
I grew up in Baltimore. My family is in Baltimore. My mother still lives in the same house in West Baltimore.
Is it a safe city?
60+ years, so the answer is definitely yes.
You think Baltimore is a safe city?
Of course it is.
So again, I know I played part of that exchange in the open of this video, but I think it's absolutely crucial that you understand the rationale behind Baltimore, and specifically West Baltimore, being a safe city. Oh, my mother has lived in the same house for 60 years in that area. Oh, it's a community that I grew up in and I feel attached to it. So it's definitely 100% a safe city. And you can see Representative Gill realizing that he just struck gold inadvertently, because he can't help but crack a smile in response to that absolutely idiotic statement.
You think Baltimore is a safe city?
Of course it is.
Okay, do you know what the homicide rate is in Baltimore?
Exactly, no.
It's about 35 per 100,000. Do you know what the homicide rate is in the rest of the United States?
No, I don't.
I can tell you that the homicide rate in Baltimore is about 5 times the national average.
So right here you have Representative Gill giving him the numbers, the facts of the situation in the city of Baltimore, which this guy just described as absolutely a safe city. And I just want to point out that that 35.2 per 100,000 is down from the previous years, because Ivan Bates, as we talked about on this channel before, came into office and he actually started prosecuting homicides and repeat offenders and repeat gun offenders in the city of Baltimore. So after 8 years of it being elevated even beyond that elevated point, which is over 5 times the national average, it has dropped to just 5 times the national average. And in comparison to other cities in this nation, Baltimore, again, is usually in the top 3. We have, of course, Memphis, St. Louis, I believe, was number 1 last year. And then, of course, we have Baltimore, New Orleans, and again, all the usual suspects in terms of cities, in terms of homicide rate in this nation. But this guy's making the case that Baltimore is not a place to be afraid of, that Baltimore is a good place to go for a jog. And I just want to point out for everybody out there in the audience, that is absolutely not true. It is not a good place to go for a jog. Baltimore is definitely dangerous. Ivan Bates is doing a good job to try to bring the homicide rate down, but he's bringing it down to its normal dangerous rates. Have you guys ever seen a show called The Wire? Well, guess what? That is a documentary on the crime in the city of Baltimore, not a drama series. In fact, fact, it's significantly worse than what you see in The Wire. And there's no way anyone who has an IQ above room temperature, anyone who has basic superficial awareness of crime statistics and what cities are dangerous versus what cities are safe, let alone a former Baltimore City police official, to get this wrong, because it's not like Baltimore became the most violent city overnight. It has been that way for a very long time, again, to the point where there are multiple different TV series about how dangerous Baltimore is, again, to the point where people understand that Baltimore is essentially synonymous for homicide. And by the way, one statistic that does not get brought up by Mr. Gill, by Representative Gill in this particular exchange, is the fact that Baltimore is also incredibly bad at clearing homicide. In fact, if you remove special clearance, which is when somebody dies or he escapes to the point that he is not captured, they only clear about 25% of the homicides in the city of Baltimore, and that is because largely the homicides are committed amongst the black population. They have that stop snitching culture among them, and in addition to that, these homicides are drive-by shootings, and they're not very easy to solve because they're very unsophisticated homicides. And in addition to that, because the murder rate is so high, because so many homicides are coming in each and every week in the city of Baltimore, they have nowhere near the resources to investigate them individually, because again, the number of murders, the sheer quantity of the murders, are affecting the quality of the Baltimore Police Department. And this police official should know that. He should understand that 100%, and yet he just lied to this representative and said Baltimore is just, it's so definitely safe. When a rich person wants to go on vacation, they're honestly in a toss-up situation between Baltimore and Martha's Vineyard, because they're just like equivalently safe.
Do you know how Baltimore's robbery rate compares to the rest of the United States?
At the moment, no, I don't.
You don't? It's about 8.4 times the national average. Do you know how Baltimore's assault rate compares to the national average?
No, I don't.
It's about 3.4 times higher. Does that sound like a safe city to you?
So again, Representative Gill drops the numbers on him. He tells him about the robbery rate being much higher, the assault rate being much higher than the national average, and he didn't even get into the carjacking rates in the city of Baltimore, which are off the charts. A lot of them are committed by youth offenders, and Maryland actually has a stupid-ass law that basically makes it impossible to prosecute youth offenders. In fact, I was sent a story recently, I might cover it in a future video, about a 17-year-old involved in a homicide who was released on an ankle monitor because, of course, the law basically treats him like an innocent Baba Angel Aladdin who didn't do nothing wrong, and that is what leads to time and time again these repeat offenders committing crimes like carjacking. So yeah, the Baltimore crime is very serious. It is elevated across the board. The population lives under constant threat of weekend shooting and all sorts of other problems. And again, for somebody who used to work for the police to not know this, to not be aware of this, to then say the opposite, that Baltimore is safe, it is a safe city, is absolutely crazy. So after the numbers were dropped, after Representative Brandon Gill ended up giving him the truth on a silver platter, you would assume that he revised his testimony. You would assume that he said, okay, well, yeah, I understand. I was thinking about, like, my mom's area feels safe to me, but obviously based on the numbers, it's super dangerous. And I just remembered that I used to be a cop, and yeah, it's 100% one of the most dangerous cities in the United States of America, if not the most dangerous city any given year.
Does that sound like a safe city to you?
Safe to me and my family members.
Yeah, of course he didn't walk back his stupid statement. He said, safe to me and my family members. Safe to me and my family members. The question was, is Baltimore a safe city? Not whether you and your also non-intelligent, non-situationally aware friends and family members feel safe in a particular area of Baltimore at any given time. This guy giving this testimony just shredded his credibility on every issue. There is no way I would ever listen to him say anything if he is willing to go on national television, go before Congress under oath, and talk about how Baltimore is a safe city. Crazy.
So that's safe to you? 5 times higher than the national average for homicides? That's a safe city?
Perception.
It's what, excuse me?
I said it's what the, for instance, it's perception. It's what you feel as a resident in Baltimore City.
Yeah, if you ever wondered why Democrats never improve these cities, it's nonsense like this. He just said the numbers, they don't really matter. It's perception. It's how you feel. It's how you feel about a particular situation. And this is somebody who, by the way, objectively, and people say that I'm making it up when I say that these people exist, is denying crime. He is denying reality. We are seeing it before our very eyes. He just gave him the numbers that showed beyond any shadow of a doubt that Baltimore Baltimore is a dangerous city, one of the most dangerous in the entire country. And he's saying, well, that's just a perception. You know, it depends on how you feel about the situation. If you feel like it's safe, even if you're in a war zone with bullets flying at you in any direction, then that doesn't really matter because it doesn't affect how you feel.
If you're murdered, I don't think it matters what you feel, do you? Is it your testimony that the safety
Baltimore City
depends on how
city.
people feel?
To me, Baltimore City is a safe city.
To you, it's a safe city. I don't think it's safe to the people who are being murdered every single weekend there.
So again, right here, Representative Brandon Gill just speaking regular, ordinary truth, common sense right here, in the face of an absolute 100% crime denial, and he just makes the point. I don't think people who are murdered feel safe in the city of Baltimore, and I don't think it matters how you personally feel about the city of Baltimore to the people who are getting shot up, getting killed in that particular city. And I just want to point out, if you asked actual residents of Baltimore, black residents of Baltimore that are not in the activist class or the political class, they would tell you straight up, of course, this is a dangerous city. They would either brag about it or talk about it, again, without showing their face because they're worried about retaliation from the criminals. But the people on the ground know this. I've never met a real life black person, like face to face, that lived in a black neighborhood that had high rates of crime, that denied the crime to my face. I've never had that happen ever, but on television, I see it all the time. On the internet, in clips, I see it all the time. From the activist class, from the people who, you know, when they make enough money to move out of the black neighborhood, immediately do so, like instantly, those people deny it each and every day, and so do the ultra woke, ultra progressive white people who have never had to actually interact with this kind of criminality. So yeah, it's absolute madness right here. The fact that this is congressional testimony is absurd, and if it wasn't such a subjective question, I would honestly want to prosecute this guy for perjury, because that's how insane his statement is. But obviously he was asked to give an opinion. He gave a stupid ass opinion that he probably doesn't believe, and we all understand that he's lying, but it does not meet the threshold of perjury, in my opinion. Now, of course, I want to know what you guys think about this clip down in the comments below, and I want to know if you guys out there in the audience actually think Baltimore, very safe city, very good city, top 10 city, you're moving there tomorrow because it's so safe because this individual told you so, or do you understand numbers? Do you understand crime statistics? Do you understand facts and reality? Again, all your thoughts down in the comments below. As per usual, if you like the video, show them by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on the social media, support me via support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about this absolute madness that went down in this congressional hearing. Till next time.